17 days after Renee Good was shot on the streets of Minneapolis, a man by the name of Alex Pretti was shot and killed in disturbingly similar circumstances. My goal in this video is to make the most comprehensive analysis and synopsis of the timeline, the debate around whether what he did was correct or not.
It is amazing to me how differently some people can see the same situation.
The reaction from the political spectrum.
When you perpetuate violence against a government because of ideological reasons and for reasons to resist and perpetuate violence, that is the definition of domestic terrorism.
And I'll also tell you a little bit about who Alex was and give context to how that reflects on us as a society here in America. Should he have been there with a gun? Should he have announced that he had a gun?
And we don't know whether he alerted officers that he was carrying, which is what everybody with a concealed carry permit is instructed to do when encountered by law enforcement.
Was he there to cause violence?
The individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement.
Was he a domestic terrorist? Was he an assassin there to murder agents? I'm going to go step by step and reveal all the different ways that Alex could have been kept from dying that day on the intersection of 26th and Nicollet Avenue, just a couple of miles away from the site that Renee Good lost her life. I'm going to do this methodically and as clear as possible and give it like the seriousness that it deserves. It's going to be a long video, so there's chapters below so you can find the different sections. If you want to skip ahead, you're more than welcome. After the video I shot about the Renee Good shooting, I had a lot of people that reached out to me personally and said they really liked my perspective with regards to that situation, and they hoped that I could break down this situation in a similar way. I wanted to do it, but I also wanted to make sure that it wasn't something that was just like everybody else's video, because there's a lot of people talking about it. It's a serious issue. It's got a ton of nuance, and so it's ripe for me to kind of explain my side of things and try to impart my perspective onto this very tragic situation. So I have put together the 8 most relevant clips from that day. Put them on a map that I found of the area. I actually cleared off the roadway using Photoshop, and I installed the white car that he is in front of when he gets shot. And I moved each of the cameras around on that map so that you can see exactly what the position of the person holding that phone or camera was at that time. Each person jumps into the scene at a different time and then jumps out at different times. A lot of people after the shooting, they panicked and they didn't want to record anymore. They're all kind of in and out at different times and different places. This does something that's kind of amazing in 2026 and the 2020s, is that there's so many phones out there. No matter what the narrative hopes to be, the facts prove out, and they go against anybody that's trying to spin a web a certain way, which we'll talk about later. Okay, so January 24th, just 3 days from the time I'm recording this right now, on the southbound lane of Nicollet Avenue, which is also called Eat Street because there's a lot of restaurants there. There's like a donut shop, and there's a Malaysian food place that you see in a lot of the videos. The time is 9:05 when the shooting took place, but we're going to back up a few minutes and lead up to this situation. So the Department of Homeland Security had this operation there, right? And the Customs and Border Protection, CBP, were there administering. I think most of the guys there are CBP, maybe all of them, I'm not sure. It had been referred to as an ICE operation, but the 3 of them are sort of all coexisting in this removal of what they consider dangerous illegal immigrants. So they were there on scene looking for a gentleman named Jose Huerta Chuma. And we'll talk more about him later, because every side of this story is riddled with misinformation and propaganda. But again, we'll get to that later. Alex Pretti lived 2 blocks away. A man who obviously did not like what was happening in his community decided to go check it out. It wasn't a long walk, let alone a drive. He was basically right there on scene. Even his parents knew that he was involved in these counter protests, and they asked him to be careful and not do anything reckless. So he went down to the scene, camera in hand. There's 2 camera angles that start recording around the same time. This is before the altercation really gets heated One of them is from a donut shop called Glam Donuts. It's across the street, and it's shooting across southbound and seeing across the white car that's parked on the side of the road where Alex meets his end. The other shot comes from a car that's going northbound on Nicollet Avenue. Whoever's driving sees something's happening, and so he gets out his camera and he starts recording. There's a few things that you notice immediately when you see him. He's a bearded, tall guy, got one hand that is free, his left hand, and in his right hand he has a phone, not unlike this one. A couple other notable things. It's very cold in Minneapolis, and so he's wearing a pretty heavy jacket, and we don't know this, nobody does at this time, but he has a concealed weapon that is licensed and tucked in to the back of his pants. As a matter of fact, the jacket is pulled lower than his pants by considerable margin. So in order to see the gun, you'd have to like lift up his jacket in order to access it. But at this point, nobody knows he has a gun, and there's no reason to suspect that he does. Alex was somewhat confrontational, but not overly, and enforcers were pushing him back, and he was moving back. A few moments later, they are closer to the front of the white car in front of the Peninsula Malaysian Cuisine restaurant, and things begin to escalate. At that time, a woman that's a little bit farther southbound to Alex starts recording, and she is walking around the scene. She walks close to Alex, and Alex is directing traffic. He has a phone in one hand, and he's ushering traffic through. But he's trying to make sure to capture everything that's going on, because there's a couple of women that are up a little bit forward of him, northbound from that white car, who are getting assaulted by the agents on scene. In fact, it's at this point that one of the ladies gets sprayed directly in the face with a irritant or mace. It's orange. You can see her face is covered with orange, and you hear Alex speak for the first time.
Do not push them into the traffic.
The first thing out of his mouth is something to be protective. We'll talk about this later, but Alex is an ICU nurse in a VA hospital. He deals with veterans, and he deals with people who are critically injured in the ICU. He's obviously showing his protective bone for these ladies that one of them just got sprayed pretty good in the face with mace. Okay, so at this point in time, the ladies are sort of moving towards Alex. Alex is moving more towards the front of this white car. The person in that white car, over her dashboard, starts recording. And you can see the steering wheel and the dashboard, and you get a pretty good view close up of what is about to take place. Across the street near B Resale, a resale shop, somebody else picks up their phone and starts recording the interaction. So now we have a lot of different angles going on at the same time, and it's all converging on this area where the tension is related, right in front of the white car. So the woman that just got maced approaches Alex, coming around the car. Alex puts his arm around her, and being the ICU nurse, the medical professional, the person that understands that there are chaotic situations in life, just attempts to comfort her. And he grabs her by the waist and starts walking her off the road. She is also accompanied by her friend in a white jacket holding a black thermos. The woman with the white thermos is then confronted by the same officer that had just maced what apparently is her friend, and body checks her full force. Male body checks her, sending her flying sort of off her feet almost, over the curb, into the snow, onto the sidewalk. She is flat out. Unprovoked, violent act. This guy is just frustrated and pissed, and he's going to take it out on this woman. Now, this is a major turning point, because Alex had been consoling the woman with the darker jacket, and he spider sense, because a lot of these nurses, they have this spider sense, man. I got a family full of medical professionals, and they know when somebody's going to drop a fork and, or a knife, or going to get themselves in trouble, because they see it all the time. They see these sorts of things happening in tragic situations, and he was in the ICU, and there's plenty of tragic situations there. So he sees this woman in distress, and he's holding the phone in his right hand. His left hand is up, raised really high at this point in time. He's trying his hardest to show the officer, listen, man, this has gone too far. My hand's up. Don't worry, I'm not doing anything. And he starts to insert himself between the space of this woman and the officer. He also turns his head around, cranks it around almost 180 degrees to check on the woman and says, let's say you're the officer, right? His head is turned all the way around. The officer sprays him almost directly on his left ear and attempts to get in his face. I mean, he's just spraying away at Alex, and I'm sure the woman on the ground is getting some overspray. This is happening very, very fast. Alex he's not sure what's up and down at this point in time. He's resisting the spray, but he also wants to care for this woman that's on the ground. He turns around even more to help this woman up off the ground. At this point, the three of these people are zero threat. You could literally just step back and let the mace do its job, and this situation would 100% resolve itself, leaving Alex alive. This is all being recorded by all these cameras. As a matter of fact, another camera opens up and Glam Doll Donuts. I think it's a different person than earlier, but the same Glam Doll Donuts, so it's the same angle, but it's a different person, or maybe it's the same person, I'm not sure. That camera captures these two officers as they're coming in front of the white car that's also recording over her dashboard. It captures Alex, who is at this point in time covered in mace, and he's reaching around the lady and in attempts to help her up because she is still on the ground from the push. So he's reaching around trying to grab her. Now, this is all the same officer. This whole thing was caused by this one guy. He comes up as Alex is reaching down to grab this woman. With this hand, he grabs his jacket right at the top of his arm, and with this arm, he reaches around Alex's neck like a chokehold and just pulls him away. He just wants to isolate Alex. He does not like Alex helping this woman, not one bit. And so he's pulling her off. Alex is in the act of helping this woman, and so the three of them go flying. The woman gets flown the most because the officer has Alex has the woman, and the woman's just like a helpless bystander getting thrown around. There had been some people after this that had said that he was assaulting that woman. It's obvious that he wasn't assaulting that woman. He was being assaulted while trying to help this woman. We'll get into just the sheer crazy hypocrisy later, but let's get through the actual timeline. Even with all of this craziness being tossed around, you can see that he's trying to continue to keep himself between the officer and the woman. He's still trying to be a protective wall between the two of them. The gun was the last thing on his mind. That I am certain. So two more officers arrive. Now there's 4 officers that are handling Alex, and there's 2 officers in front of the white car. One of them is I think, talking to the lady in the white. You can see her thermos sort of rolling around on the ground freely. Alex now is completely isolated. He's been ripped away from the woman, and he is dropped down in the fetal position. His arms are down and his legs are sort of tucked up. He's sort of in a ball, and he's just trying to protect himself, protect his body from what's happening because he is getting brutalized. As a matter of fact, the same officer that sprayed the woman in the beginning and sprayed Alex twice and also sprayed the woman in white now is really continuing his angry fervor, and he takes now what seemingly is the empty bottle. I don't know how much charge you get out of those things. He probably ran out because he's taking the bottle and he is just pounding it into Alex's face while the other officers are all attempting to pin him down. Some are holding his arms. There's another officer that's sort of wrapping around Alex's waist. It's a very chaotic situation, but you have all of these angles around, so you can kind of see what's going on. Some of them are a little fuzzy, some of them are clearer, but you can see from the videos that are available now pretty clearly what's going on. At this point in time, a man in gray approaches. He's just looks like a regular guy. That's what a lot of these ICE and CBP and everything go. I mean, I used to think that you wore the khaki pants and the sheriff vest or whatever, or a hat or whatever. But this guy walks up in a gray jacket. He walks up and he's sort of looking around outside and he notices something. You can pretty much tell in the video that he sees something and he's like, I'm going to do something here. It's a very chaotic situation. This is all happening very, very fast. But this guy enters a situation and reaches towards the back of Alex, who is now in the fetal position. His hands are by his head, one of his hands seemingly still holding a camera phone, and his ass is in the air, and he's just sort of hunkered down, knees underneath his body. And this guy grabs his leg and pulls him back, the guy in gray, and then attempts to look around his back area. I am guessing that he has noticed that there is a holster tucked into the back of Alex's pants. This is the first time in this entire situation that anybody other than Alex has even the inkling that Alex has a concealed carried weapon. You don't know he has a weapon because he's reaching for a weapon. You don't know he has a weapon because he's indicating that he's going to use a weapon. This man literally lifts his jacket and sees it. And so he says, "Got a gun, got a gun." Now, at this point, you can see the original officer, the one that maced the girls, the one that slammed Alex in the head 3 times. He is now in behind Alex, looking basically down at Alex's back and butt. He has a very clear view here of this guy in the gray jacket screaming, he's got a gun, he's got a gun. All the while, his hand is now on the gun. You can see, it's a fuzzy clip, but you can see the black mass, which is a holster with a gun in it. And you can see his hand on the gun. And you can see the removal of the gun from the holster. Other clips see him take the gun and run away from the scene. He's got the gun in his right hand. You know it's Alex's gun because the picture of the gun has this blocky sight thing that hangs on the back of the 9mm. You can actually see the shape of the gun, even through all of this fuzzy footage. Again, it's amazing that we have this footage so that we can get to the bottom of these things ourselves. And so takes the gun and he runs away. At no time did he let any of the other officers know, "I got the gun. He's disarmed. I got it. No gun." All this guy said, or somebody in that group said, was, "He's got a gun. Gun, gun, gun." The gun is removed from Alex's pants. The man is running away. You could see the gun in his hand at the very moment the first shot is fired. I'm guessing it was the man from the very beginning that has been macing him constantly, and the woman, because he had pulled out his gun as soon as the call that he has a gun. This man removes his gun. He's behind Alex. He's reaching out the gun. And as the man removes the gun, about a half second, maybe a full second, maybe later, he shoots. Not to be finished, he shoots 2 more times into Alex's body. Now, the first shot happened a little bit before the next 2, and so Alex kind of is lifting his body up. He's just been shot. His arm that has been holding the phone, you can see the phone in his hand, drops to his side. The man has just been shot. He's surrounded by 6 officers, 4 of which are manhandling him, 1 of which shot him once. I would not fault him for his fight or flight reflexes to kick in and have him be like, "Oh my God, I've got to reach for my gun." And that's me imparting him the ultimate nuance here, because that's what I would have done. I don't give a shit who is doing this. If I was helping a woman and suddenly I was shot in the back, you're in survival mode at that point in time. But he had a phone in his hand, so he's not going to grab his gun anyways. It was either a reflex because he got hit, or it was a last-ditch effort to save his life. Either way, there's no gun behind him, and 2 more shots go in, and he's out on the ground, and it's over. Right? It's over. You've just killed this man. No. Then 2 other officers who are off to the left of the situation, the ones that had been kind of trying to hold Alex, they pull back. They both pull out their guns, and they shoot him about 5 more times. A total of 10 shots. It really gets busy here. Boom, 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 boom. People are screaming. It's chaotic. And Alex is either dead or close to death. There's another clip that happens that is northbound on Nicollet Avenue, and it's from somebody who's either in a car or standing near a car, and he's shooting down, and he can see the officer that is walking onto the scene right as the shots are fired. They start going off rapid fire, boom, 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 boom. And what does he do? Claps 3 times. Celebratory. Woohoo! We got him, boys! We got this guy. We got him. Alex never touched his gun. Alex never fired his gun. And 10 or more shots were fired rapidly onto a crowded downtown street of Minneapolis. How do I know it's crowded? Because everybody's got fucking cameras. The woman is in her car looking over her dashboard, watching the whole thing go down. Alex was less than a body width apart from her front of her car. The 2 women were around the area, the ones that got maced. And then people, multitudes were around watching this whole thing.
Not again! Are you fucking kidding me? That guy's dead.
Now there's a couple of extra stories. I don't know if they're proven, but I'm going to mention them because fuck it. One of them is a medical EMT or somebody that was on scene trying to help him, and he kind of had to push away the CBP officers because they were counting bullet holes. They were literally counting holes in Alex's body. They were rolling him over. If he was able to be saved at that time, the last thing you want to do is move a man like that. Oh, did I mention that when the officers riddled him with 5 more bullets, he was laying prone on his back. You can see his feet pointing towards the sky. So when the CBP officers came in, they wanted to tip him up. Did they go through? Did they pop out the other side? How many? 1, 2, 3, 10? Very professional. In another situation, another CBP officer was being heckled by a bunch of people who are 100% justified pissed, screaming, "How did you kill him? Why did you kill this man?" And you know what he says, or is reported that he said? Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. Compassionate. Hey guys, thank you for watching the video. If you're interested in comparing this to the situation that happened with Renee Good, you can watch my video that is previous to this one. I'll leave it linked below in the comment section and also here in the video corner. These 2 situations really shed an interesting light on the nuance of politics, social media, propaganda, and the emotional state of America right now. I feel this so much that I actually made a series of videos. I recorded Alex's timeline video, and then I continued talking, and it got so long that I thought it would be better to break it up into the different sections. So the next section of this video is going to talk about the immediate reaction to the shooting of Alex, and I'll also talk about the specific arguments against Alex. He did this wrong, he did this wrong, he should have done this, he should have done this, and we'll break that down. I'll also talk about recent footage that actually came out as I was editing this video of Alex protesting about a week prior to his incident. Does it mean that he was dangerous? Does it mean that he deserved to be shot even more? I'll break that down. In the video after that, I will talk about all the ways that Alex shouldn't have died that day, and Renee shouldn't have died that day.
And I want to remind everybody that this situation and this tragedy did not have to happen.
I'll also talk about Alex Pretti and his background and his life. And in the next video after that, I'll break down immigration and talk about how we got here, how that messaging is being delivered to us and influencing us to be angry about things that we shouldn't necessarily be so angry about, and how a division in our country is formed by the most nefarious reasons in order to distract us, literally breaking down with reports and using facts. Alex Pretti in particular situation should have absolutely never happened, because the man, Jose Huerta Chuma, was not as dangerous as we had been told. Anyways, look forward to seeing you in those subsequent videos. Thank you for watching this one. If you thought it was useful for helping you understand the breakdown of what happened to Alex on the road that day, please leave a like and a comment, and let me know even if you think I'm completely off base. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.